Leonard Gates to miss doubles because it's an incredible strength that he has. It could be the bullseye for Connor Scott. It is the bullseye.
59.
It could just be those
Leonard,
small...
40. Game shot on the
Just
first
creeps into that double
Leonard
10. Nice
Gates.
start there from Leonard Gates. I was surprised to see him at 4-1, Henry. I think each time he's been here, he's been a bit of a red-hot favourite going into the competition. But whatever he's doing as part of his preparation today, it's certainly working.
The ball for a 3-0 lead. This is an incredible start from Leonard Gates.
Big win.
Well, he's restricted Connor Scott to just 2 opportunities at a double in this game. Totsa Gates for a comprehensive 4-0 victory to depose of Connor Scott and to send out a statement of intent to the rest of the field. He may have relinquished his seniors title at the weekend, but he is here to play at the Super Series. An average of 98.5. 4 from 8 when it came to the finishing. A 1-2-4 in there as well for Connor Scott. Once again, he has ran into a big performance. 7.5 minutes to get the opening game done. Coming up after the break, Mike Warburton, former weekly winner here, up against a debutant in Michael Burgoyne.
Seems to be winning every ADC competition. So they like Michael Burgoyne. Would love to be on here. So a big shout out for Jordan and Carl.
177.
Yeah, Chris Mason very much enjoyed that chat room last week, it's fair to say. Warburton will be enjoying the progress he's making in this
59.
game. He's going to get 6 starts here for a 3-0 lead. Averaging just a shade under 90. It's a real solid start.
Game shown the
Once
third
again,
leg.
perfect marker there, and he uses that dart as a real guide. This is
68.
Opportunity to take out a second consecutive 4-0 scoreline to start the day. 48 left. And so it's a dart at double 16 for a 4-0 victory and a real performance of solidity for Mike Warburton. A 4-0 win against Michael Burgoyne, 50% on the doubles, an average in excess of 91. If he plays to those sorts of numbers for the duration of the week, he is going to be a serious threat to picking up his second title here. We're talking about players that have picked up titles here on more than one occasion. Andreas Harrison, who's won the last 2 weeks he's played here at the Modus Super Series. He is our beard to be feared, and he kicks off his latest campaign against Max de Jong after this short break. For the break at a 3-1 lead, and Harrison would have been staring down the barrel of defeat. But the doubling missathon continues for the Swede, and so de Jong is going to come back for more bona fide opportunity to get the break.
Yeah, bizarre game.
Well, the biggest shock is not the fact that Max de Jong's broken a lead 3-1, but Andreas Harrison in the background there has been chuntering to himself over the last couple of visits. He knows that the scoring phase of the game is okay, but he can't finish for Toffee. Well, when he woke up and got out of bed this morning, this was what he was dreaming of, having an opportunity to win his opening game. But it's an opportunity he may have to seize following a third max of the match for Harrison. And so Tots for de Jong for a 4-1 victory and to stun the bookmakers' favourite to go on and win the group. Max de Jong with a debut victory against Andreas Harrison by 4 legs to 1. Well, nobody maybe saw that kind of scoreline coming. Andreas Harrison missed 16 darts at a double, and Max de Jong was there to pick the pieces up. And so that's the first round completed pretty much in the blink of an eye. Coming up after the break, we're going to watch Leonard Gates and Mike Warburton go toe-to-toe.
Leonard, you require 100.
Well, it's been almost perfect. Has decisions here because it's such a good marker. And I think it was half-hearted on that decision there. It just seems to be the norm to go tops these days.
No score.
Well, he's bust the ton. He has bust the ton. Incredible. And he is absolutely livid with himself.
Leonard, you require 38.
Well, he's been much the better player in this match as Leonard Gates. His only Achilles here was those final 6 darts there. But he has 2 darts at double 16 to put this game to bed. And he gets there in the end. Leonard Gates is on a real roll. That's 8 legs out of 8 so far against 2 of the big hitters. Mike Warburton started the day fantastically well. However, he was no match there for the American, who looks in really, really good shape right now. Leonard Gates, who, remember, lost in his opening game at the World Seniors in Blackpool at the weekend, produced an average of 98.56 in the opening game. And guess what he's averaged again? 98.56. Exactly the same ratio. 50% on the doubles. Absolutely outstanding from the American. Big chance for Andrea Harrison. He's up next to put pay to that first match. He plays Connor Scott next.
Well, at 8 o'clock this morning, if you said the game between Andreas Harrison and Connor Scott could be the battle to see who's going to be bottom of the pile, is he hit a 9 darter in practice? Oh, between them, I've just heard that they've just hit a 9 darter in practice. Well, that's no good, lads, is it? We want to see it during the main game. Although I think the biggest surprise is Connor Scott's finished a 9 darter by going treble 20, treble 19, double 12. Well, we know that these two can provide the quality between them. They quite literally provided perfection between them in terms of the practice darts. Scott pinning the 9 in a pairs. And apparently they've hit another 180 in the practice. I tell you what, forget about the game. Let's just see them practice together, because we might see the greatest game we've ever seen here at the Super Series. I think he's just hit another 180, Harrison. Oh, he missed the 6th dart for back-to-back 9 dart leg in pairs. I think the game's going to be quite good, Glenn.
Well, I tell you what, it won't surprise me if the opening scoring is 41 from absolutely nowhere. I sense the fact that Andreas was already thinking of that last leg. Is it tops? Well, there's one of them.
80.
But the second doesn't duly follow, and Scott to take us all the way to what would be the last leg decided. It's actually the longest game of the day, no matter what.
Yes, we've been treated to some fantastic darts today. Connor Scott does look a little disappointed as he gets his darts out there. Andreas Harrison had real problems in his opening game on the doubles. However, this time it's super slinging at the Super Series for the Super Swede. Andreas Harrison gets his first 2 points of the day. He was the favourite going into this Group A campaign. Connor Scott will be very disappointed to hear the statistic of played 2. Lost 2 as well. Numbers much more positive there for Connor. He was over at 92, but for Andreas Harrison, just what he needed to do. That's the type of character. That's why he was favourite. 94 average. He moves on. We move up to the 2 debutants next. Max de Jong, who won his opening game against Michael Burgoyne. He's searching for his first win.
Established the fact that Burgoyne may well be a big finish tickler this week. De Jong 116 will stay there. And the treble leads and tops. That first dart was a nice guy for the second to pop in, and then finds the third for the 116. De Jong leads 3-0. He has the double break.
Big chance for the Dutchman.
20.
It's double 10 for 2 wins from 2, and having dropped just a solitary leg in the process. And Max de Jong is having a dream debut here at the Super Series so far. 2 games played, 2 games won for the concession of just a solitary leg. And it is he and Gates who are the top 2 after 2 rounds of matches. And so de Jong gets a bit of Burgoyne by 4 legs to 0, and a much improved average as well. He's put on the best part of 6-7 points from his first game. For Burgoyne, he's also improved from game 1, but he's going to have to climb up the levels of Connor Scott to come. Well, we're going to take a short break, and when we return, this is a heavyweight clash. It's Leonard Gates against Andreas Harrison. Do join us after this. Well, he won the Groundhog Open this year.
Super dart.
Game
quality finish, all them problems that he had on the outer ring. Oh, you enjoyed that, didn't you? It's better to be a has-been than a no-been, Henry Deacon. Treble 20 for double 18. He's looking good. He's looking fantastic. The Swede leads 3-0.
Andreas Harrison. Andreas require 80.
Well, Andreas Harrison has been absolutely superb in this game. He's going to get a dart, you feel, for the match against the also impressive Gates. And what a finish. Andreas Harrison in his opening game today had a percentage of 1 from 17 on the outer ring. However, 2 games later, Dirty Harrison is now looking the type of player why he was favourite going into this Group A campaign. Look at those numbers. He's averaging over 100 throughout that match. And look at the average there, 98.56. He does that, what Gates has been doing to others today. 4 from 5 on the outer ring, a 1-2-1 checkout, almost perfect for the Super Swede. As we move on to top of the table, Max de Jong against Mike Warburton.
Having to go through a certain point of the tournament to get that money back. De Jong looking to get his money's worth here.
Well, he doesn't miss finishes, does he?
Game shot in the first
Well, I hope they don't pin that, because I couldn't get my words out there, Henry. So, to everyone working on the socials, there was a beautiful finish, but try and stop the stuttering commentator. But Max de Jong, once again, picking up those scraps again.
Third consecutive leg in 5-visit range, which has seemingly been enough to dispose of Max in the last few legs.
Yeah, first out was lovely, nice and flat the way he likes it there. You can see the disappointment. He fancied the maximum there, but it's in the hands, you feel. He'd expect 6 stars from 84. May only need 2.
What a marker. What a guy. There's no way he was missing with the third. 15, 13, 15, the legs for Mike Warburton to come back from 2-0 down to lead 3-2.
He leaves it pretty, but Max de Jong, who's been good on his doubles, remember, this time, a lot of pressure and tension on this.
Game shot on the 6th flag.
What tension. Absolutely plumbing the bed of that double 18. We're going the distance for the first time today. Oh, this would be some way to win it. This would be an incredible way to win it. What a finish from Mike Warburton. 2-0 down he was in that game. A real flip-flop of a match, and fair play to Max de Jong. He played his part in a fantastic game. Look at the response. That's what a 1-6-1 can do to you. There was not even a slight consideration there from Warburton to lay that up. And that 1-6-1 has been the highlight of today. And look at those averages again. 94.61. Superb on the outer ring from the Welshman. And that 1-6-1 to boot. A fabulous way to finish that match. It's super tough. Apart from the next two coming up. A big game for Connor Scott against Michael Burgoyne. The stem.
Well, this is for a 2-0 lead of the breaker throw. He's averaging in excess of 104 here, Connor Scott. And when he's got going, he has really got going. And Connor Scott really is moving through the gears here.
Matches on the spin. 8. So I know how we'd be feeling. But Connor Scott, we were expecting a big performance. We get a big performance. Throughout that match, he was averaging well over 100. Nearly shy of 115 after 2.5 legs. That dipped a little bit. But Connor Scott is one of the best amateur players in the world right now, and a 95.26. A statement of intent for the sniper. That's much, much better for Michael Burgoyne. That difficult day continues. Just the one dart, the double for Michael. He hits that, but it was all about Connor Scott. As next up, another huge game. Who's going to go top of the table? It's Andreas Harrison against Mike Warburton.
Andreas requires 76.
Of a wire. And look what Andreas needs. We've talked about these are the types of finishes. What an unbelievable first dart. So clinical. That's a confident man. And that's the most of a fist pump you'll ever see from Andreas. Quite match sharp, which got to a quarter-final of a challenge tour last week, losing to the eventual winner Lee Cox, who I know watches an awful lot. So if you're watching, Lee, many, many congratulations from the Motor Super Series team.
Harrison tops after 12 to really turn this game on its head. It was a scrappy opening couple of legs or so, but Harrison really has put his foot on the pedal. This would be a second 13 dart if he can pin the tops for a 4-2 victory. And Andreas Harrison is beginning to make some major moves. Mike Warburton will feel like that was a game that he should have grasped, but it is one that's in the leisure of the Super Swede. Andreas Harrison, he's cool, he's calm, he's collected, and he is now top of the pile. A 4-2 victory against Mike Warburton with an average of 93 and 33% when it comes to the finishing. Those are the sorts of numbers we come to expect of Dirty Harry these days. Coming up after the break, Michael Burgoyne looking to get off the mark as he takes on the imperiously looking Leonard Gates.
Leonard, you require 32.
You would think it's going to go the distance. We talked at the beginning of the day how good Leonard is on his doubles.
Game shot on the 6th.
That's been his saving grace once again. Gates. We are going the distance. Michael Burgoyne has been the better player out the two of them. A little fist pump there.
Leonard, you require 8.
You would expect no more chances for Michael Burgoyne. Leonard Gates, double 4. This is tricky, but he gets there in the end. That's a beautiful last start. Not at his brilliant best, that he'll admit. It's a smile on his face and also a wry smile there for Michael Burgoyne. Lots and lots of positives there. The man from Bedfordshire and Burger Boy will be back, but that was was a real missed opportunity because Leonard Gates, for the majority of that game, was second best. He just found a way of winning, and that's sort of a different aspect there for Leonard Gates. But a big win for him and Michael Burgoyne. The troubles continue. We move on to another game that's up next. It's Max de Jong against Connor Scott.
Require 90.
Is this nailed on for Scott? That's the bullseye.
Game shot.
Just seemed to fiddle with his dart, and I just thought maybe should have stood back a little bit. How wrong could I be on that one? Absolutely nailed that.
He has by and large taken them, and he's going to have to take this because you don't expect 3 more misses from Connor Scott. It's tots for 3-3 and another last leg decider. But it doesn't go, and Scott comes back.
Yes, as good as his doubles have been, they look pretty nervy. Connor Scott, like I say, sets the bar very high. He was averaging well over 100 throughout that game. Just tailed off a little bit at the end. But the most important thing for Connor Scott, it's his 2 wins after a disappointing start to the day. His final game will be against Mike Warburton. It's the penultimate game. Big smiles on the face from both. The camaraderie is great between the players. But Connor Scott, he showed his class in the end, and he moves on to 4 points. It's the final games for the players, and first up it's going to be Michael Burgoyne against Andreas Harrison.
And Harrison, the way he's going here, could well smash all records, smash anything that we've seen before here.
Wow. Just when we thought we saw the best of this group here so far, we said players haven't really seen out the whole matches. We've seen averages round about this, then just go under the average mark, but this is spectacular.
Well, I think it's fair to say that the record average now needs to be done in perfect style. He's going to have to hit a max here and take it out in 11 darts, you feel.
Come on, Carol Vorderman. Is 7 darts enough, or does it have to be 6? Da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Dun. It's done.
60.
But what a performance it has been. He's averaging 120.20. If he takes out the 161, possibly. So 161 for a performance beyond all compare.
He was the favourite, remember, going into this. So it's no surprise that he's posting massive averages. But when he goes back and he sees his average what it is, he probably won't care a diddly squat about averages. It has been pretty special. Very effective, very efficient. Over to you, Mr. Harrison.
It's by far the best performance we've seen on this stage in 2024. Double 16 for a 4-0 win and a perfect performance from Andreas Harrison. An average of 117.88. It's in the top 5 all-time record averages here at the Modus Super Series. An incredible performance, the like of which befitting of the favourite to win the group and to win the week. And that is why he is one of the best players in the world without a tour card. 117.88, 4 out of 5 out of the doubles. There was question marks after game 1 surrounding Andreas Harrison. There's no question marks now. He wins 4-0 to end the day in perfect style. Coming up after the break, Connor Scott and Mike Warburton have got to try and follow that. Month average for the year, 91.89. That's pretty much on a par with the tour average for 2023. And his checkout ratio, 39.61%.
140.
Yeah. One of your favourite players from the old Southampton days, Connor Scott. You know, you often talk about the Graham Ushers, the Jim McEwens, the Kevin Burness's, etc., etc. And Connor Scott was in that mix.
A player that's learnt from every experience. The first time I met Connor was at the Lakeside a couple of years ago when he came in a short price favourite to win it. And I think maybe that was a tag that came a little bit too soon for him, but he has learnt, he has matured as a player ever since. And we are seeing the fruits of that labour bear here.
Yeah, critical moment here for Mike Warburton. What a huge dart in the context of this match.
96.
Wow. When he let go of that dart, his hand alignment, when he threw that, he thought that was in. Is that the difference between winning and losing in this game? Massive dart this time for Scott, but he's up to the challenge. Fabulous. 60 seconds of darts there. Mike Warburton
Scott comes back for the match. He may scurry his way to 6 points after losing his first 2 matches. It's been a day all about resistance for Connor Scott. His head could have so easily have dropped after the first couple of games, but then he found a way to win his last 3, and he puts himself in second position in the table. As for Mike Warburton, it's kind of a day of contrast. He put himself in the early running, but at the end of the day, he finds himself second bottom. 5th position, 2 wins from 5. Coming up after the break, Max de Jong, who's guaranteed now a top 4 finish at the end of the first day's play, is in action up against the soldier Leonard Gates.
We love Henry's. One more and he'd been finished, remember. 170 here for de Jong. We've seen absolutely everything today. And add the big fish to it as well.
Max de Jong.
And he's reeled to it. Good cod, he looked like Luke Littler there for a second.
Leonard, you require 160.
Well, he started on the 20s and the 19s on this 116. It's back to the 19s again for double top.
Game shot in the third.
And he's just playing on routine at the moment. Like I said, he's used to standing there for hours and hours with this rhythmic throw that he has.
Could you? The bullseye. Almost.
And it wasn't a case where, shall I lay up? That part of his brain was just saying to him, 2 170s in the match. And like I said, if you'd have offered him 2 darts at a double to win the match at the beginning, he's just gathering his thoughts there. Leonard just going through exactly what he needs. This might suit Max because that adrenaline will be flowing right now. Big moment for the young Dutchman.
And Gates has left himself a double to win it. To make it 3 wins from 5 on his debut day. He has worked hard for everything. He has grafted away. Double 10. Doesn't go, and Gates will come back to make it 4 from 5. He got off to the perfect start. He had a little bit of a wobble in the middle of the session, but he will finish the day with 4 wins. And Leonard Gates is joint top of the table going into the second day's play. He gets the better of Max de Jong in a last leg decider by 4-3. An intriguing battle to end the day's play. De Jong had a couple of match darts himself, but it is Gates who gets over the line in an intriguing contest. Both players have a ton plus out. It's Gates who wins it in a last leg decider by 4-3. Myself and Glenn are going to make our way over to the studio to assess all of the action on the other side of this short break.
Intriguing afternoon's worth of action. This is what we've seen so far. And there's 2 dominant forces at the top of the group. Andreas Harrison and Leonard Gates, the 2 players to be feared as far as this group is concerned. Both winning 4 from 5 on their opening day's play. What an afternoon we have enjoyed. And we've enjoyed it in the company of the 3-time Lakeside champion, the former Premier League winner, Glenn Durwan. And Glenn, there's only one place to start, and that is Andreas Harrison, 117.88, the joint 3rd highest average in the history of this competition.
Yeah, it was an absolute joy. It was a real joy to sit in that commentary box. I mean, we could see it overhead. We could see the staggering numbers, you know, the clinical finish in there. It was an extremely good performance. I mean, he's started the day with missing all those doubles in the first one. A lot of players, the head can go down, but one of the strengths and characters of that man is the fact that he doesn't. He's just chatting to the referee there to say that 117.88 was your average there, Andreas, of which he responded, well, that's my highest ever. My highest was 113. A good guy, wonderful performance.
He's always been a player that we've associated with a very high ceiling, and every single time he comes here, he gets better and better. And when you think of some of the highs he had before, that gets scary with every visit here.
Yeah, it does. He's getting better, like I said, and to see him on the Euro Tour producing the goods, no surprise to the Motor Super Series fans, because we know, you know, the fact is maybe getting a little bit older, but we just know he's going to get better. And this treble 20 double 18 here was just another indication. It was a demolition job of Leonard Gates, and not many people do that to Leonard.
Most certainly so. Andreas Harrison, the man top of the pile, and he is joined there by Leonard Gates, who at times was spectacular, but at times had to graft.
Well, you said 2 dominant forces, but how different they'll go back to the hotel rooms now, because I think Andreas goes back very happy, but this man nowhere near his best. He loves a bullseye, we know that. We know how good the guy has been, so dominant in the North American circuit, so dominant as a world senior as well. But I tell you, he was running on empty. How important was that last win over Max de Jong? Because Max had darts at that double top, but they looked a little snatchy from Max on debut. I think the realisation kicked in very much near the end. Gates got to win 8 points, but by hook or by crook.
We've spoken about the big scoring. We have to talk about the big finishing. Let's begin with the Warburton 161. What kind of day do you think he'll feel like he's had when he's put his head on his pillow?
Well, when you have a great start and a poor ending, I think you'll go back and you'll just remember the ending. And I mean, I'm sharing accommodation with him, so I might even find out about him. I think he'll go back disappointment. There was good times there, lovely little reaction to the camera there on that 161. Didn't even consider setting it up, despite the fact it was 3-3. However, I think his overriding will be slight disappointment.
And then the biggest finish of the lot in that last game from Max de Jong. Big finishes, big results, good first day.
Yeah, he's on debut. Like I said, we didn't see any sparkling average from him, but I saw enough from him of why he's the ADC qualifier. A good guy, and then, like I say, that 170 there, just, look at the reaction. That's what Luke Littler effect is doing on people there. That's your first thing you think of on that 170, and good on him.
Connor Scott, how do you think he's going to assess his day? Because it's felt like at points he's ran into some, but then didn't let those opening 2 defeats drag him down.
I think he'd be slightly disappointed, but in hindsight, he's in the mix. Those head-to-heads with Andreas Harrison tomorrow and Leonard Gates are now massive for Connor Scott. Yeah, he'll have to be immaculate from here. He might have to win every single game the way Andreas is playing, and the fact that Leonard Gates will come back tomorrow better.
Let's have a look at the table then following the first day's play. And as you can see, Andreas Harrison and Leonard Gates both lead the way on 8 points. Connor Scott lost his first 2, won his last 3. And as you can see, de Jong, Warburton in 4th and 5th. Michael Burgoyne is going to look to get his first win tomorrow. So looking ahead to tomorrow, Glenn, are we expecting more of the same from Andreas Harrison?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I don't think there's much deviation there, but it might be a big statement in the fact I'm sharing a room with him as well, so sharing accommodation with him as well. But already I see it as a bit of a 3-horse race. It's very early to see that. And the Michael Burgoyne sort of, the fact he's so far detached now, you're going to get that very interesting crunch up of players there. But I do see the winner of the group come from Harrison, Gates or Scott.
Don't know about you, Glenn, but I've really enjoyed today.
Well, the pace of the game is very early, some big 4-0 victories. Every time we looked up, someone was averaging over 100. So we've had incredible quality, a bit of tension at the end as well. And like I said, shut all that in a mixing bowl and we're going to have a fascinating conclusion.
I'll tell you what, it's that good. Shall we do it again tomorrow?
With you?
Cheers, Glenn. Thank you for your company, and thank you for your company as well. Really do appreciate it. We're going to be back same time tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. on the Super Series YouTube channel, as moving day could be really intriguing. And at the top of the table, well, Andreas Harrison, the Super Swede, averaging 117. How about that?